Orange County Marathon, not a big race, not a race that we would normally cover, but it's surfaced and been chatted about quite a bit, popped up on Reddit. You identified this story. The guy who won the race got DQ'd for a really kind of interesting and unusual reason. Like, tell us a little bit about what happened in Orange County.
Yeah, so this runner, Esteban Prado, he finished first at the race. He crossed the line in 2:24:54. And then shortly after, he was told that he was disqualified. So during the race, turns out his father was on a bike next to him throughout the course and was also handing him water. There's lots of video evidence online showing it. And not only is the cup of water kind of the issue, but people are highlighting that they suspect some pacing for a portion of the course, which kind of is a big issue. So yeah, second place was awarded as the winner, and Esteban Prado was disqualified.
I mean, that's brutal, right? Like, you cross the finish line, and I think he ran a pretty good race. I can't remember whether or not it was a PR, but 220, just under 225 is a very good performance. Obviously worked very hard, and then you get told that you've been DQ'd. That must be like a real gut punch for that to happen. The video actually that you embedded on the story from a local news channel was pretty great because it's quite thorough. Like, they talked to him, they talked to the race organizers, I believe. They also spoke with the guy who was in second place, who got elevated to first place. And we can talk about that in a second because it was an interesting interview. But my take on this is I understand the importance of this rule. I understand that on a like super bleeding edge elite level, like if the stakes were extremely high, tens of thousands of dollars, you're talking about like New York, Boston, something like that. Obviously this would not fly because it would be an unfair advantage to the person in the lead. But like, I know this is going to sound crazy because 224 is a really great time, but it's sub-elite. It's not elite. And maybe there was a bit of money at stake, if I'm not mistaken, but not a crazy amount of money. These people aren't doing this for a living. And I kind of feel like the main reason why you're out there running at this level is for the time, for the performance. And I think it just sucks for this guy that he did run the time and he's getting this time taken away from him. Like, the win aside, right? I mean, that's an ego thing. The actual time itself is valuable for him. Like, I don't know, just qualifying for Boston or something like that. Like, now he's got to do another marathon in order to have that time. What's your take on this? Do you think that it was fair that he got DQ'd?
So here's my thing. I think when issues like this come up, a lot of people say, oh, like, that was such a stupid rule. Like, he shouldn't have been DQ'd. Mm-hmm. But in the end, like, the rule is there. It's been there. It's printed out. It's in the rule book, and everyone has to follow it. So I think there's almost like two levels of thought there. The first is looking at the rule itself. Should the rule be changed? Should the rule exist? Yeah. And then the other school of thought is like, okay, the runner did this. They broke the rule, regardless of whether the rule is stupid or not. They broke the rule. So it might sound kind of harsh, but he did break a rule, which everyone...
Jessy, you're the rules or rules person?
I know.
Oh,
well, here's the thing. In cycling, for example, we have a laundry list of silly rules. Like, for example, sock height. If your socks are above a certain height, that breaks the rules, and you can like lose UCI points, you could get disqualified, yada yada. It's a stupid... Your sock height, how tall your socks are. That's an insane rule, right?
Yep.
But we follow it, and if you break it, you have to suffer the consequences. So yeah, I think kind of my rigid cycling rules are kind of coming into play here, but the rules might be stupid, but they're there, and he broke it. So yeah, it might be harsh, but I think the DQ was fair.
One little caveat with this, my gentle pushback to your rules or rules take is that he did point out that the race was like woefully inadequate when it came to supporting him on the course. Like, and there was in that video clip that you posted, there is ample evidence that he's like blowing through the water stations, and the volunteers just aren't ready for him. Like, they don't have water or hydration fluid or whatever out on the course for him. They obviously didn't have like elite stations for hydration. So, I mean, his argument was, well, like, I need to take something in, and my dad was there handing it to me. My issue is actually more with, and this is what was pointed out on the subreddit that was kind of like lighting a fire the other day, which is my issue is more like he's getting paced by his dad on a bike, and that's a real aid because
yeah.
If you've ever been like deep in a race and you're all by yourself at any level, whether you're in first or 500th place, if you're like out there alone trying to battle your own mind, it's very, very easy to let up and to go easy on yourself. And so when you've got someone there next to you pushing you, it helps you. And obviously the guy in second place presumably did not have any help and wasn't running with anybody. So, I mean, he definitely got help in that capacity. The other thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way is like, I kind of feel like the race organizers were being a bit disingenuous here and not owning their decision, because they said that they were forced to disqualify him. But if you like dig into the U.S. Track and Field Association rulebook, it's kind of to their discretion. And if they wanted to fall on their own sword and say like, yeah, mea culpa, we did not support this guy enough on the course. Our volunteers were not ready. He was like jumping on them way too quick, flying through. They weren't, ready to hand off fluid to him in time. So like we can kind of let this slide because we kind of failed him in this race. They could have done that. And so it leads me to this question, Jessy. This is like a little conspiratorial moment here. Is who ratted him out? Who complained?
By the sounds of it, it was the runner in second place, and that was what I was about to say. I'm like, that's probably why they decided to kind of stick to the rules there, is because, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was the runner in second, because he was the only one that would have been able to see him, reportedly.
Gotcha. So this dude, Jason Yang, he was actually really close behind. So I do get the reason why the guy was upset, because he was probably like trying desperately to hunt him down in the last couple of miles and didn't do so, and was watching him get help from his dad up in front, and was probably just boiling with rage the entire time, which maybe helped Jason Yang run faster because he was probably motivated because he was pissed off that this guy in front of him was getting help.
It could have demoralized him a bit too, though.
Or it could have done that, yeah. So he ran 2:25:11, so he wasn't very far behind. And like, if you've not read Jesse's story, if you've not watched the video, go to our site, and I'm not just merely plugging this so you go to our site, but like, go watch the video clip, because it's really kind of interesting. It's like there's a little story within a story definitely playing out there, because this Yang dude was like he was like kind of smug about the whole thing. He was like, kind of like, yeah, I should be first place. Like, screw that guy. He was not at all like, usually you get the, I just really feel really bad that Prado, like, he ran such a good race and it sucks that he got disqualified. It's just not the way I want to win or whatever, like the false modesty thing. But he did not do any of that at all. So
there's a little bit of marathon beef going on there.
Total
and
beef.
Afterwards too, Prado was like, I know I won. So you can kind of tell they're not best of friends. You can bet that.
Yeah. So I guess the takeaway is rules are rules, but it still kind of sucks that this guy, it's like, not like it's like, there's like cheating and then there's cheating. He didn't cut the course, right? Like, he still ran the race. His legs still did the running, right? So yeah, I feel bad for Prado, but I guess you're right, Jessy.